Welcome to the Mentor Podcast, where the most highly motivated entrepreneurs come to get their weekly dose of financial stability with host Ron LeGrand, as well as other nationally recognized thought leaders who will teach you how to get, grow, and protect your wealth.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of thementorpodcast.com. I have with me a gentleman named Zhang Ray, who I just met recently at one of my own mastermind meetings that I attend, and he's got an interesting story about what he does, and I thought it would be a good idea if I share that with you. So, Zhang, why don't you tell everybody who you are and why you're here and what we're going to learn here.
Hey, Ron, good to be here. And, you're a legend, and we see you everywhere on the internet. You have a big influence on my life as well. When I first came to the country, I saw your ad, so that kind of sparked me into investing. Right now, I do more land deals. So I do flip land from the buy side and also on the sell side. So that's what I do full time right now.
Where do you live?
I live same city as you, Jacksonville, Florida.
Oh, you live in Jacksonville. I didn't even know that. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, don't be buying houses here, Zhang, because I'm buying them all. All right.
Yeah, I'll buy land. So.
I'm actively buying houses right now. Got me an acquisitionist, and we are cranking up the buying machine big time. So, all right. Well, you say you buy and flip land. What kind of land are you talking about? Small parcels of land, large parcels of land? And
more like infill lots, residential lots.
Yeah. Okay. And then you flip them online, I assume, and you do that all over the country?
Yeah. So right now I'm in about 45 different countries, about 45 different markets, about counties, right? And about 8 different states.
Okay. And how do you go about doing that? How do you find these pieces of land, and what's your average profit on them?
I try to make sure I get at least 10,000 profit on each deal, but sometimes more, but not too much less. But I find them just by direct mail. I send a direct mail with the offer on it. Whoever want to sell their land, they'll contact me, and then we'll negotiate from there.
Okay, so you mail to property owners.
Yeah, landowners.
Individuals, not institutions, not corporations, just individuals.
Individual and companies.
And companies?
So, yeah, a lot of people put their land under companies, so we buy them as well.
Right. Okay. And a lot of people do LLCs, I guess, as well, don't they?
Absolutely.
All right. So how do you target who you're mailing to? How do you decide who to mail to? Okay, they own land. You know it's a small parcel of land. You can get that right off the code in the county. But you don't know a whole lot more about it than that, do you?
No, we go for the first step is market selection. We want to make sure that market has the ability to sell, or a lot of investors looking to buy. For example, we need to make sure in the past 3 months, we at least have about 40 land sold in that county. So if it doesn't hit that number, I typically don't go to that county, because you want to make sure that you make money when you buy, the time you can sell, right? So
you put it under contract. How do you know what it's worth?
Just mainly by the similar size. It's the same as houses, and we look at comparables, and I never guess. So, which means if a subdivision do not have a sold data in the past 3 months, I don't even go to that subdivision.
Right.
So
okay. So in other words, you're just picking on parcels of land that are ready to build a house on.
Absolutely.
Probably leftover parcels in a subdivision.
Yeah. So infill lots. Yeah.
Is that true? Is that what you're buying most of the time?
Yeah, infill lots that haven't been built yet.
Okay. Well, that makes it easy to get comps, actually. But,
yeah, very easy.
But then again, your comps are going to be houses that are built. Well, I don't know. I guess they had to sell the land before they built the house, didn't they?
Yeah. So there are a lot of sold comps for land alone.
Yeah. Yeah. If there's any development going on around it, yes. Well, that makes it actually easy. So then you just mail it to the owner and tell them you're interested in buying their parcel.
And with an offer price.
With a what price?
Offer price.
Offer price. You mail them an offer on it? Okay.
Absolutely.
So you put the offer right in the mail piece.
Yes.
Okay. Why do you do that? Do you think that gets you a better response than just getting them to call you and let them tell you what they want?
Not much response, but more time saving because, of course, I can send the neutral letters, but I will have to do the comparables on every lot. But I can do it beforehand, so I can save more time.
Well, I'll give you a tip, sir, that you need to test. I don't ever tell anybody what I'm going to give them for anything until they tell me what they want. I think that is a big ass mistake if you want to know the truth. Because a lot of times they'll take a whole lot less than you're offering them.
Absolutely. That's why we negotiate when the offer comes back again. And then
but just the same, you've already planted this high price in their mind. And in my opinion, you kind of spoiled your negotiating ability a lot more than if you let them they don't want these pieces of land. If they wanted them, they wouldn't be on the market right now.
Absolutely.
Are you finding that most of this land is owned by builders?
No, absolutely. Most of them are owned by, they bought the land a couple of years ago or like 10 years ago, hoping someday they will retire there.
Build on it. I got you.
They never,
I can see that. But I would suggest you just test a good mailer. We pay all cash. We close quickly. If you're interested, call me back immediately and so forth, and see what happens. Test it against the ones you're mailing just for the hell of it.
That's right.
I'll bet you'll get them cheaper. So I say you don't want to take any less than $10,000 a piece. What's the average price of these lots you're selling?
I try to target land worth at least 15 grand.
50?
Yeah. 15. Okay. 15. Yeah.
15?
Yeah.
Wow. How do you make 10 grand on a land that's only worth 15 grand?
If we send offers for 40 or 50 cents on the dollar. So if I buy a land for 15,000, that land typically worth about 30.
Okay.
So
you mean 15 is about your normal purchase price?
Correct. Not the land value. Yeah.
Yeah. But you don't buy them, do you? You just flip them without buying them?
No, I buy them.
Oh, you close on them?
Yeah, I close on them. Yeah.
All right. And then what do? You try to sell it immediately?
I sell them immediately, and some of the good ones I'll hold.
Okay.
See, I can build it someday. So.
So you do have thoughts of putting a house on it someday?
Yeah. I have some in Palm Bay, Palm Coast, those areas.
Oh yeah. I'm familiar with those areas. Those are nice areas. Yeah,
absolutely.
And you're right; they will go up. They won't go up this year.
Not this year. Yeah.
They probably won't. They probably won't go up next year. But the thing about property, it always goes up sooner or later.
Right.
So you're a land flipper and a land speculator.
Correct.
You keep some of them.
Yeah.
How many of these pieces of land do you buy in a normal year?
I bought about 100 last year, and I already bought almost 10 this year. So keep it active.
Are you kidding? We're in the middle of January. You already bought 10?
Yeah, I hit a tour guy. He had like 4, and I bought 4 from one seller, and it's in Texas. I'm trying to sell that, see if I can close it quick.
Okay. How do you go about selling these things? Sell it all online?
All online by realtors on the MLS.
Oh, you list them?
Correct.
All right. So does anybody go see the property before you buy it?
Yeah, before I buy it, the realtor will go see it. If they don't want to go, that's fine. And you're not my realtor, right? So
yeah, that's smart. So you send the person that's going to sell it out to look at it before and alert you to any big issues, like they just put a dump next door, things like that.
Right. I got a screw.
But you're smart. I heard you say earlier that if they're not, if the development is dead, then you don't want the land because you can't sell it either. And in my past, I've developed some properties myself, and I bought developments and so forth. And you're dead right, boy. There's a couple that I didn't buy because there wasn't any activity in that thing in the last 3 or 4 years or so. So I don't want to be the next person holding land in there. So, all right. So in order to buy that many properties, you must do a lot of direct mail, don't you?
I do. I do about 15,000 to 20,000 a month pieces a month.
A month?
Yeah.
And so how many, let's say you mailed 20,000 pieces of mail, how many calls would you expect to get?
I get about 1 to 5% on land, which is much greater than houses.
Absolutely. 1 to 5%. Okay.
And that's not even the method you talk about. If I do neutral letter, that'll be higher.
Okay. How do you pick your areas actually?
Areas, I just go by the sold number for the last 3 months. So if the last sold number for last 3 months is over 40, that could be one of the good areas I want to go to. For example, Brevard County, Flagler County, they're all in the Palm Bay, Palm Coast area. And in the past 3 months, there are over 100 sold for land alone. Yeah.
You get that off. What site do you go on to get that?
I can go to Redfin, Zillow. Sometimes if you go to the non-disclosure states, you can go to Redfin. Those are, Redfin is owned by brokers, right? So can kind of tell.
There's actually quite a few sites you can get it off of. We use Craigslist, which you have to pay heavily for. I think you probably can find that on city-data.com for our listeners. You can get the data pretty much about any place and all kinds of data. I'm sure it would be there. And it might even be on the county website, wherever you're at. But hell, if you can go to one site and get them all, that's where I'd want to go.
Yeah.
So you pick, but you still, okay, so you go to areas that are still selling, but where do you start? Do you pick a city? Do you pick a county, out of the air and then see if it fits? Or do you have a search mechanism to search the whole state, for example, and see which counties
Absolutely.
are active?
So on Listsource, of course, you know that site. On Listsource is a method you can log in and you can search the entire United States. And based on counties, and you can see how many sold land for the last 3 months or a year.
Well, that's good.
Without paying a dime.
That's listsource.com.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So you just sit there, direct mails. You don't take the calls, do you? You got somebody doing that for you?
I have one person right now I'm training, but I used to take calls myself. Yes.
Okay. Well, everybody has to do it the first time to hard train somebody else to do something you haven't done.
Yeah.
So, so you got one person on your staff taking calls? Anybody else? Anybody else?
One VA out of summer, I pay him about $2 an hour, and he does the market research, making offers, and all that. And on the selling side, I have realtors and title company to do the selling side.
All right. So you just hire realtors based on the area where you're at.
Absolutely. They have to sold some land in the same subdivision.
Yeah. Select the realtors that do what you're trying to get them to do.
Absolutely.
And then and I imagine the realtor leads you to a title company, don't they?
Yeah. I ask them for it first. Yes.
Okay. So really all you do is direct the whole thing from your seat and let other people do the work that they do for the small amount of money that they get. You get the larger money for the one that's doing the directing, not the one doing the front work. Is that what you're trying to say?
I haven't been out of my house for like a couple of weeks. So
that's not good, Zhang. You got to get out and go to a restaurant once in a while,
Yeah, I might go to the house and get trained, right? So
so you got a home-based business because you've learned to automate it.
Yeah.
And get other people to do all the little stuff for practically nothing. Honestly, that's such a big lesson that I keep pounding people on for pound them. And it's not an easy thing for people to learn to spend all their life swapping hours for dollars and expect that, that's what you got to do. And it's a hard habit to break.
Yeah.
You're a great example of that. So how long have you been in this country?
I've been in this country about 11 years. And when I first came here, I had to learn English, and that was hard. I was homeless for like 3 months. And after that is just grinding and hustling, right? So
you came here with nothing?
I have $3,000, and I bought an iPhone, and that's about it. So
no kidding.
Yeah.
And where do you come from?
From China.
All right. So you came here with nothing 11 years ago.
Yeah.
And with $3,000 in your pocket.
All right.
And what propelled you to start doing this land thing?
Actually, when I first started, I flipped a lot of stuff. Like I went to Craigslist and looked for free stuff on Craigslist and just sell it back on the Facebook marketplace. And then I started to flip cars. And when I started to flip cars, my life changed a lot. I mean, from homeless to have a place to live, right? So, and after that, I was thinking, either another way I can flip something that can yield me more money. And that's when I started to do houses and land. Land fits me the best, I think. So, yeah.
So you first started buying stuff online and selling the same stuff online,
Right.
which anybody can do that wants to do it. And a lot of people are doing it actually, and have been for quite a while, making small money.
Yeah.
Then you started selling cars. I imagine you're probably averaging $2,000-3,000 a car. Am I somewhere in the ballpark?
You got it. Yeah.
But then you realized you actually can make money without money. Without
Absolutely, you can. Yeah.
labor. And then it just occurred to you, I can do the same thing with real estate. And then you started on your own.
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you have any training of any kind when you started?
I had a guy. I paid him 16,000 to do the car thing, and for land, I paid more than 100,000 to have people train me.
You paid more than 100,000
Yeah,
for training?
For land.
So you must have paid that over a period of time, didn't you?
Yeah, so I paid a guy 70,000 to start with land, but he didn't teach me much. So, you learn by the way you do, right? So.
Mm-hmm. All right, so you kind of built this thing on your own, huh?
Yeah, I added my own thing inside, so it fits me the best. And right now, I'm teaching people to do the same. So
are you teaching people to do the same now, Zhang?
Yes.
But you don't have a course. You're just working with them personally?
Yeah, I'm coaching and I'm building a course. If they can understand my English, I wish they could, but if they don't, that's fine.
But actually, your goal is to actually cater to the Chinese, isn't it?
I'm thinking to do Chinese too, but I'm teaching right now primarily in English.
Well, that's because you're talking to people that speak English.
Yeah.
But I think you've got a huge market out there in teaching this in Chinese. Who the heck else is going to do it? Right. Plus, they literally can do this anywhere from anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I see a big market for what you're doing, and it's easy money. It's home based. There's no big investment to get started up. I guess you're actually closing on them, but I do the same thing. I just bought an old junker house. I closed on it, and I'm going to wait till I get paid what I want to get paid, and I'm going to take these low ball offers because I'm under such a short time frame before I have to close on it. But on the other hand, you had to have the money to make that happen as well.
Absolutely.
You said you did about 100 of these last year?
Yeah, about 100 of them.
And your average profit is 10 grand?
Oh, more. I saw. Yeah, our profit last year is about 900,000 last year.
So you almost made 7 figures then, huh?
Yeah, I made 7 figures, but the profit is less than 7 figures.
Well, profit is what you made. All right. You mean you grossed 7 figures?
Yeah, I growth 7.
All right. So you're going to beat the crap out of that this year, aren't you?
I try to increase my mailer piece and just talk to more people, right? So
well, look, I've been in direct mail for 40 years now or more, and I've learned from the best. And I'll tell you right now, you need to be testing mailers against each other consistently till you get one that really outpulls the rest, and they call that your control. And then you try to beat your control. Again, I already told you I don't make anybody any offer. You'd be surprised how many times people will take a whole lot less than you tell them what you want to pay. And when I sell houses, I don't ever tell them what I want down or what I want per month, as I put lease option tenant buyers in there. But that's the only way we can get the big deposit. Shut up and let them tell us the most they can pay and play them against each other on the selling side and how much they can put down. That's but man, you are a great example to lazy Americans, truly lazy Americans, coming over here from China, can't even speak the language and figuring out how to make money, living homeless for 3 months. That's a hell of a story. You need to get that story out to everybody you can.
Absolutely.
And I bet you that when you hear these lazy Americans whine and bitch about the smallest little things that don't make any difference, and you think to yourself, golly, if they only knew what it's like not to be in America.
Yeah.
So that's a message that we should never get tired of hearing.
Yeah, absolutely. In China, you cannot flip house. I mean, there's no way. So, land all is owned by the government, and the houses, there's no house. There's only apartments. So, is the opportunity is here.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what the heck made you to make the decision to come over here?
I just hate my life. I try to. I'm poor. I was poor. My family was poor. I was tired of it. I used to like wear a shoes for at least a year. I can still buy another one, and because my mom and dad didn't have the money to buy my clothes and shoes, so I have to wear that shoes for the whole year. And the clothes the same. I take showers once a week, and I was like, is this all there is?
Yeah.
And then I came to America. It's totally different.
Yeah. Are your parents still alive?
My mom passed away, unfortunately. Yeah.
Okay. So your dad's still over there?
Yeah, he is still there.
All right. But could you bring him here if you wanted to?
Of course. Yes.
Yeah. Does he want to come here?
He wants to, but he doesn't speak the language, so he doesn't know.
You didn't either.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think of a story about a student that I have from China that worked in a restaurant in the back of the house in the kitchen. And he bought my tapes, and he had to get somebody to tell him what I was telling. One of the guys, I swear to God. And he went out and got his first deal, and he started really slowly learning the language. But it's just amazing how immigrants come over here and don't take for granted all the privileges and rights that we have, and whine and bellyache about everything, and come up with all kinds of excuses on why they can't do anything. And then a guy like you comes over here that couldn't start at any lower place in life and works his way up to 7 figures annually. That's really a story that needs to be put out there. I got a lot of immigrants with that same story. But anyway, do you want people to contact you? Did you get? Did you talk to Debbie about getting a link to talk to you?
Absolutely. I have an Instagram. Instagram, I'm there all the time. It's called Virtual Flip Land, one word. So VIRTUAL Flip Land, LAND.
Okay, and that's how they can reach you.
Yes.
All right. Do you have anything that you would like to tell our listeners before we get through here today that I missed?
I think one thing I want to say is when you talk about that low life just now, the good thing about you, if you're living like down there, very low, is the only way to go is up when you're low, right? So you got nothing to lose, and a lot of people got it wrong, because when you don't have nothing, that's the time to take big risk. And when you're wealthy like you, it's not the time to take big risks anymore. It's take less risk with a lot of money, right?
Well, frankly, most of the people that I see that are wealthy at times took big risk, but not dumb risk, just a big risk.
Yeah.
But I teach people how to buy houses without taking risk and without using their credit and without using their money. So there's really no way they can lose anyway. I also teach them don't ever guarantee debt and use attorneys to close. And honestly, if you do that, it's pretty hard to go wrong. Yeah, you might lose a few dollars every now and then, but you make it back up big time on the next one. But I think, I'll tell you what, I see the biggest problem with people coming in is not so much they're not willing to take risk, is that they're afraid, they're fears. I don't even know what they're afraid of. Dang, I ask them, they don't really know. Honestly, here you come from China with nothing, and here I'm talking to people that are afraid to pick up the phone and talk to somebody on the other end that can't possibly hurt them. Okay. But it's just a different culture. You will never, ever forget where you came from, no matter how much money you make. And as long as you live, you will never forget what it was like back then. And honestly, I wasn't a whole lot different than that. Okay, I was born here. I didn't have to learn English. but I didn't have a darn thing when I started. Not a job, not a wife working, none of those things. It didn't stop me. But I had all the major concerns that everybody else has, I guess, and all the reasons to quit. But I couldn't because I wanted to eat. So
yeah, absolutely.
I knew I'd always go get a job if I needed one. All right. Well, sir, guys, if you want to talk to him, give that location one more time on
Instagram. Is a virtual flip land right there.
Virtual flip land, and that'll get him in touch with you. All right.
Absolutely.
So, I really appreciate you taking the time to spend with us today.
Thank you, Ron.
Make sure that your story gets out.
Thank you, Ron. You're the legend.
Okay. I'm just old. I don't know what. Okay. All right, man. Thank you much.
That's all for this edition of the Mentor Podcast. To connect with Ron and learn how you can attain financial freedom, as well as up-to-date strategies to grow and protect your wealth based on today's discussion, go to www.connectwiththementor.com.